You're now listening to the Minnesota Vikings podcast. Football finally back in the Twin Cities after almost a month since the last home game. The Vikings faced the 4-1 Lions in their second divisional matchup of the season. And we're so lucky to be joined by Vikings veteran safety Harrison Smith, still out there proving he's the hitman each and every game. And I wanted to ask you first off the top, how much fun are you having right now playing in year 13?
Yeah, it's just a group of guys we got, the whole staff. The feeling in the building, it's a lot of fun, especially what we're doing on defense. For my role individually, it's a lot of fun. So I've been around long enough to know that these kind of situations don't always come up every year. So definitely take advantage of the opportunity.
For sure. And I mean, you're surrounded by a bunch of guys who, I'm sure you had the early bye week, but it was easy to walk back into the building. What was it like to be reunited after, a week off?
Yeah, it's the early bye, but I was talking to Jonathan Bullard, and he was like, man, I was kind of ready for the bye to be over with. So I think that goes along with the kind of the joy that we're having. Like, we want to get back to work. We want to get back to it. So that's a good sign.
Recently in the Jets game, you joined an elite group of people, a Hall of Fame style, if you want to say that. You're only the 7th DB in NFL history to have 20-plus sacks, 30-plus interceptions. And on the sideline in London, I heard a lot of the guys being like, 20-piece, like, you got the sack. Do they know, like, what numbers you're at?
Yeah, just because last year I got to 19 and a half early in the year, and kind of know that's, like, I wrote down, like, 20 picks, 20 sacks in, like, probably 2014. I probably wrote that down.
Oh, wow.
So I've been waiting for it for a while.
Yeah.
But it was cool, and all the guys being excited for me. That's fun. That's part of football. So it's a pretty cool club to be a part of.
So now that it's 2024 and you've hit that mark, do you make new marks? Is there like a new number you have in your mind you like want to end on?
Yeah. I've always got some things written down, but
Good.
It's always team goals, and then it kind of trickles down from there. So. Whatever we can do to keep winning is all that matters.
For sure. For what it's worth, though, as a defensive back, how hard is it, like putting it into perspective for fans, to be able to reach that 30-20 mark? I mean, you're only the 7th to do it. How difficult is it?
I mean, you definitely have to be a multiple type player, a guy that can be trusted playing in coverage and getting after the passer. It also has a lot to do with the schemes that you play in. We know that Flo likes to be aggressive in certain spots. So it's not just an individual thing. It's the schemes I've played in, it's the players I've played around, and then, when the opportunities arise, take advantage of them.
One of those players that you're playing around who's having a really great start to the season is Andrew Van Ginkel with his second pick six of the season. I have a trivia question for you. And I see a smirk. I feel like you probably know where this is going.
I've got some ideas.
Do you know who the last Vikings defender was who had 2 pick sixes in a season?
It was probably me in 2012.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's only been 10 of you guys in Vikings history to be able to do that. If he beats you, I mean, that's okay. That's okay, though.
Yeah, I told him. I think I'm like the franchise leader in pick sixes as a Viking with 4, and I was like, Gink, you're gonna beat me in one season, man. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
At this rate, for sure. What do you think Van Ginkel has added to this defense?
Yeah, he's kind of like I was saying with the interceptions and sacks and stuff. Like, he's a multiple type player that can rush the passer, beat tackles, beat backs. He's really good in games. He can play off the ball. He has a really great feel for coverage and dropping and finding where the ball is going to go. He's just a football player. Like, if you played him on offense, he'd figure out how to help the team. And if you got a few guys like that, you can do something with it.
It feels like there are several players like that on the team who positional flexibility is so important in what Brian Flores is running. So how can you explain to those who maybe don't know the ins and outs of what you guys are doing, how critical it is to have players like that who can be flexible in their positions?
Yeah, you can't do it without not just one guy like that, but a handful or more, and you got to have depth because just the reality of the NFL season, guys are going to miss some games here and there, and that's like the physical requirements. But then there's mental requirements too, as far as being able to like be flexible and recognize things and play at a high IQ level. So it's, when you watch it unfold, it doesn't always look that complicated, but to get to that point is normally a few steps. And to be able to do it collectively is another thing. So we're always practicing and trying to get it right. And luckily we have a coaching staff that trusts us and players that can get it done.
So before week 6, this defense ranked first in hurries, knockdowns, and pressures, second in sacks. However, you guys are blitzing at a lower rate than you were last season under Flores. How are you able to blitz a little bit less but still get enough pressure on the quarterback to affect them more this year?
Yeah, I think it's credit to the guys up front. Different ways that we're doing. It's not always just sending more than they can block. And then obviously being in the right calls that stresses what offenses are doing. That starts with Flo and Durante and Swerve and the coaching staff, and we just try to execute their plan. We're just the pieces on the board, and we every now and then we can kind of go outside of our movement pattern. But if we execute the plan collectively, it's normally going to give us a good shot.
Yeah, I had the analogy written in my notes that it just feels like Brian Flores is playing chess out there and everybody else is playing checkers. I mean, you've made a bunch of quarterbacks look like rookies out there, or at least, as much as you can for second and third year players looking to be back to their rookie seasons. As you're watching the defense affect the way that their game is going, how does that feed you guys as a unit? Because you're seeing them go through their mind and they're like, I can't figure this out. But then you see a guy like Aaron Rodgers, and he has the same problems.
We definitely take into account who the quarterback is and experience level and what they're going to recognize and what we can maybe make harder on them. It's really just about trying to make it harder on them. They're going to make their plays here and there, but if we can add anything to their thought process, pre-snap, post-snap, and just make it a little harder to tell exactly what's going on, that's what we're looking to do.
How do you do that to Jared Goff on Sunday?
Same plan as far as the ideas of what we're trying to get done. He's obviously a veteran guy with a lot of success, a very good player, can make a lot of big throws, and has a lot of good players, a lot of offensive skill players, good O-line, good running backs. So they do a really good job over there, and Goff is a huge piece of that. So just trying to make it hard on him like we do on everybody.
Yeah, and Brian was really funny this week saying that he likes to fight fire with fire when asked about the Lions' aggressive play calling. In your eyes, what's fire going to look like?
I mean, it's not far off from what you've seen before.
But it doesn't seem like they can figure it out, though.
Well, I mean, normally in the NFL, there's enough good coaches and players out there that people are going to figure some stuff out, and you got to adjust. And Ben Johnson, their offensive coordinator, he's fantastic, and he's kind of like you mentioned, fire with fire. Like it's similar. They do some things that are aggressive and can be tricky for defenses. So it should be a good matchup.
Recently, you were in Tell Us with Metellus with Josh, and we noticed that you're not really a phone guy. You got the blank background screen. It's just for communication. So just to let you know, on social media right now, everyone's talking about, the Vikings, and they're one of 2 undefeated teams left in the league. There's other guys on the team that are looking at their phones, especially the younger guys. How do you make sure that they don't buy into all these narratives that they're seeing as a leader and a veteran on this team?
Yeah, it's human nature to hear good things about you and react a certain way, or negative things about you and get caught up in that. And everyone operates a little differently. Like some guys can handle seeing it. Some guys should probably just stay away from it. So just kind of figuring out how you operate and keeping your eye on like the things that really matter. And those things are typically the things in the building, your family at home. But just like there's no reason to be affected by it
Yeah.
at this point. We kind of knew who we were before the season started. Most people didn't. Some people are coming around to it, and it doesn't really change anything for us.
Speaking of family at home, you've got 2 little ones under the age of 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I've noticed, though, that one of you and your wife's favorite months is October. It feels like you've got some pretty epic Halloween costumes over the years. Has it been fun to include the kids? Like, are you guys family brainstorming on what to do each year?
Yeah, now it's become, my wife kind of runs the show with the costumes, but now like the focal point is the kids,
Of course.
and then we kind of fill in where we need to. So we've got a few different ideas.
What was
this
last
year.
year's?
What were we last year?
I don't know if I remember if I saw anything.
Last year it was kind of old, but we went. I was a White Walker.
Oh, that one's a good one.
Wife was Khaleesi.
Nice.
I wanted to make my daughter a White Walker, like the full.
Well,
but
yeah.
we were like, that's a little much. So like, she was.
Put
she
like
was a
blue
dragon.
contacts in. No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
she was a dragon.
Okay, cool.
It was fun.
Do you have a favorite one over the years?
There's been some good ones. Full Power Rangers. Full. Pat P and I went as Billy Hoyle and I forgot his name, Wesley Snipes from White Man Can't Jump.
Okay.
That one was good.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
We killed that one. American Gladiators a long time ago was good.
Yeah.
We've had some good ones.
I like that. So, I mean, the holidays, I think having children probably changes that a little bit. What's been the best part about, seeing them experience Halloween or Christmas time?
Well, I mean, this is kind of the first year that our daughter will like really get into it. She's just getting old enough. She was just kind of a prop last year, and our son will be still kind of a prop. So, but it's fun to it's definitely fun to see our daughter get into it.
Yeah.
She likes that stuff too. She's like her mom, so we'll definitely have fun.
She cracked me up the other day when I was on the field. Before one of the games, she was just flat out laying on the turf and the grass, like totally comfortable being there and being herself, which is so awesome to see. What's it like as a father to be able to give these unique experiences to your children who are, growing up around such a different world?
Yeah, it was something I didn't think about for the majority of my career, but seeing my teammates who had kids kind of old enough to enjoy the experience of the NFL and the team and everything. So now that I get to do it with my kids, I realize how special that is, and I'm very fortunate that hopefully they'll remember some of it.
Yeah, I think you might be playing a little bit longer. They'll be able to remember. You guys do, and I'm sure they will be in attendance on Sunday, the noon kick against the Lions. The crowd there is always something that is really special. It's been almost a month since we've had a home game. And last time we were there, it was the Texans game, and it really affected what the Texans were able to do on offense. How much does that crowd noise actually play into what you guys are able to do defensively?
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a legitimate home field advantage, which I don't think is the case everywhere in the NFL. But it's a big advantage for us. It also, you normally don't think about it from a defensive standpoint, but it kind of makes it harder for us too. But we're okay with that. Like we've done it enough. We'll figure it out. And then the road games on the flip side are like completely silent when we're out there. So. It's normally not how fans think of it from a home field away standpoint, but we prefer it as loud as possible.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time. Best of luck this season, and let's go 6-0, right?
Yep, that's the plan. Thank you.